On July 17th, Greeley police officers responded to a report of an injured person at 2025 4th Avenue, Apartment 8 here in Greeley. And as the officers arrived at the scene, it was obvious that the individual was deceased, had wounds to the head and face. The individual was identified as an Angie Zapata, approximate age 21. During our investigation, information was developed by our detectives that the victim's vehicle, which was described as a 2003 PT Cruiser, had been taken from the scene, was missing. Our detectives put out a national alert for this vehicle. About 1:45 this morning, that vehicle was encountered by the Thornton Police Department on a noise call, a loud noise complaint in Thornton. Upon contacting the occupant of that vehicle, Thornton Police learned that the individual was named Allen Ray Andrade, age 22, of Thornton. They determined that Mr. Andrade not only was in the vehicle belonging to our victim, but also had some traffic warrants for his arrest. They took him into custody on the traffic warrants as well as the stolen vehicle. They contacted Greeley Police Department at that time. Our detectives responded to Thornton. As a result of interviews with Mr. Andrade, our officers have obtained a warrant charging him with second-degree murder, also aggravated motor vehicle theft, and he is in custody at this time. We do not have a booking photo for you at this point because the investigation is still underway. We do want to commend the officers of the Thornton Police Department. We did an outstanding job in bringing Mr. Andrade into custody, and also to our Greeley police detectives who have been working this case without let-up since the murder occurred. We have been fortunate in Greeley that we have no unsolved homicides for the last few years, and we'd kind of like to keep it that way. And I want to commend our team of detectives that have worked on this continually since the crime. We do have physical evidence in our custody as well as other evidence, but I think we're kind of starting to get into the law part of this now, so it'd probably be a good time for me to step back and let Ken Buck, our district attorney, respond to your question.
This individual is linked to the car. The individual also made statements that implicated him, and that's the basis for the arrest. You know, the initial charges are brought by the police in consultation with the DA's office. We will be making formal charges in 72 hours, and we'll take all the evidence into account. As you can imagine, the arrest was just made. We have more evidence that we want to look at before making that decision. We are considering all the crimes that are involved in this case. It is a bias-motivated crime. Someone that is assaulted or harassed or intimidated based on race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, other categories. At this point in time, we are looking at the elements of premeditation and deliberation, and we will continue to look at that before we make our final charging decision.
We've been continually developing evidence and talking to people since the time the crime occurred, but this was obviously the big break that we were looking for last time.
Could you go ahead again to how you contacted the suspect?
Thornton Police Department received a call of loud noise. In other words, it was a noise complaint. Thornton responded, located this individual in the car. It appears the noise was coming from the car. Contacted him, determined that he was in a stolen vehicle, and he was also a wanted person. They also picked up our information at that point that we wanted this individual to be talked to in a murder investigation. We felt we were close. We just needed the additional piece that Thornton provided, which is why we're so appreciative to them. Well, I think my reaction, I'd let Mr. Buck speak for himself, would be the same as any normal person's reaction. It's disgusting. It's a horrible thing to say.
So it doesn't matter who the victim is or whether the victim is victimized because they are of a certain race, religion, sexual orientation. It is a crime, and in Weld County, and Greeley, we're going to do the very best we can to enforce the law. It is the crime that we are looking at here is it just can't be tolerated at any level. And I hope that if anything positive were to come of this, we would develop a stronger relationship with the gay, lesbian, and transgender community so that they understand just how seriously we take crimes like this and how vigorously we will pursue justice in a situation like this.
I think one of the things that's important to me, I will hear from people sometimes, well, you don't care as much. You don't work as hard if, let's say, it's a poor person that was killed, a transgender that was killed, somebody who lives in another city that was killed and was visiting Greeley. And none of that's true. When you know the detectives, when you know the kind of people we have that work these cases, it doesn't matter to them. And every case is handled the same way. It's pursued as hard as we can possibly pursue it. They're all murder cases to us, and every one of them we want solved every time.
Greeley is a very tolerant community, and we are a very sensitive community to diversity. We are not tolerant of people who would do harm to the residents of our town.
I think, again, that this is not an unusual incident. We may not hear about these all the time in terms of headlines and getting a lot of media coverage, but we do know that members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community are targeted for violence. We did see a recorded number, about 19 murders nationally last year, and again, those are just the ones that were reported to members of the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, as well as some reports in the